everything look good, including being overweight. So, you know. Scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells alkalytic. The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
All right, and happy Saturday, everyone. You are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you all so much for being here. We are going to be talking about a great topic. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, we are starting the month off with topics that are very, very important to our community. First thing, mild cognitive impairment, early cognitive decline. Okay, bear with me here. Cognitive impairment in mood disorder, depression, bipolar, and also brain, gut axis, and cognitive health. These are just the information. Dr. Zari is going to break it down to us. Don't worry about it. Don't run. We have great topics going on. Dr. Zari, I'm going to bring you up here so you can go ahead and get started with the conversation. Grand Rising, good morning to you.
Grand Rising, thank you for very much for that introduction. We're going to definitely go over some things that we're still finding out about the mind, still finding out about how the brain functions. But the beautiful thing about it is that we'll start thinking about how we're thinking. And
Yes.
it's really important. It doesn't matter if you know the big words and the phrases. Is the you have and pardon me, the confidence to do these things, to read on them, to talk about them. And it's not about being, it's not about perfection. It's about execution.
Yes.
And when we do it, we get out there, we start talking about things, and then you're like, oh, I can have a better understanding of that. So we really appreciate you being here today, and want to say hello to everybody over there in Instagram land, along with YouTube, everybody that's on YouTube. Thank you very much for the subscriptions that we're getting. You're subscribing and you're liking, and guess what? Also commenting. So thank you very much for that. It takes a lot to run the show. You got the nerve to talk about eating healthy when you know that most of the world, you can't tell anybody anything about, the things that they're crazy about. Crazy, I don't want to overuse that word today, but things that they're really excited about. And we're going to see what becomes of what we're sharing today. I want to give a shout out to those people in Detroit, Michigan that's been really, really big supporters. We wouldn't be here without you. Just thank you very much. And of course, I would like to also thank everybody here, right here in Los Angeles and in the great state of California that constantly just gets better and better. So thank you so much. There's some things that we're talking about today that we're actually acknowledging the Mental Health Awareness Month for this whole month. And this is just the 2nd of May, but this is the month for recognizing the mental health awareness. So we'll be talking about, and you'll probably be hearing that from other people also. Okay, so Carolyn, let's go ahead and kick it off with some of the things that you want to accomplish before we get into more of the lecture.
Some of the things that I would like to accomplish. Um, what do you mean? In what way? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the things that you would like to, you want to shout out to people, you want to remind people of things, or
Yes. Okay, got it. I wasn't sure which direction you were going with that. Okay, thank you. Well, just for anyone that's tuning in or even on the replay, thank you all so much for joining us. We are currently live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. I say it all the time. We cannot do this without you guys, so we do appreciate anyone that comes by, shares the live, drops a comment. like on YouTube, you can actually like the live with a thumbs up. YouTube is a little bit different. When you have the thumbs up, it's just that one that has the little thumb up, and that's how you thumbs up the live. Um, but just being able to share it, and any replays that we get back to, we know that people can't always be here right then and there here in the morning, as we are live every Saturday 8 a.m. Pacific time. So you come in.
Well, we haven't. Okay. Yeah, I think we had a little glitch there. Let's go ahead and move forward and talk about some of these mental. Now, I want you to know that the mental health month is every May, every year, and the current 2026 trends, they actually show the strong shift toward the cognitive health and early detection and personalized care. So, some of the things that what would you call the struggles or the challenges of the mind? And usually, people usually refer to these things as cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, things of those nature. That things of that sort. So we want to just change a little bit of that, because sometimes when you, just like right now, we're warming up, we're getting used to it, and that's how the brain has to do, is has to organize things. And the brain helps to predict things. The brain also helps to focus on things. So just because you have a few glitches here and there doesn't mean that, oh my God, I'm going to get Alzheimer's, or a lot of those cognitive problems are misrepresented when it comes to the medications, over the counter drugs. All of those things is really like is something that's um, very difficult to uh, go ahead and move forward when we're stuck on something that we have a habit of saying or thinking. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can get my assistant back out here. She's moving pretty fast this morning. So
I am
let's
here.
bring it. All right, yeah. So let's have a little discussion here. Like, we want to actually have a discussion, because I know sometimes the listening and being still is very hard to do, especially early in the morning, unless you're one of those people that have a lot of discipline, like a nurse, Cheryl Lee, for instance. She is a sister that has a lot of discipline, and that she's just remarkably on the ball. So we want to talk about some of the things that may be that will grab your attention when it comes to the Mental Health Awareness Month. And again, remember, we're talking about, when we say cognitive, it simply means brain. It's not any, it's a big word for brain, or another word for brain. So we'll talk about three of the most trending cognitive health topics with their names, their symptoms, and their prognosis. Now, the things that will say, they might seem like it's the same thing, but there's definitely a difference between the processes. And the mental patterns are how the brain organizes and predicts. Now, this is really important, because when you don't understand how the brain organizes and predicts, usually you will assume that you have something much, much worse to deal with, and that you're confronted with, because you don't understand what you're going through mentally. Now, there's also the memory and recall, and this is about how your brain stores and retrieves information. Now, if you are used to saying things to yourself like, I used to remember how to get over here, but I don't know how to get there anymore. Wow, must be Alzheimer's.
Okay, there you are. You're back.
It,
It
it,
it cut out for a little bit, and now you're back.
okay, I have no idea what happened there. What's the last thing that you heard then?
Just the last couple of sentences that you just said. You were it was frozen, then it just went away. It just went away.
Okay. All right. So, what we're talking about the things, the mental patterns, the memory and recall. We're talking about prognosis. We're talking about the cognitive health topics that we're going to be discussing today. So, as we go into this again, I don't know if you missed this or not, but I'm going to repeat it anyway so that you'll have a good idea of what we're all on the same page. The three most trending cognitive health topics, and those three most current and trending are mental patterns, and this is how we'll to be talking about how the brain organizes and predicts. The next one is memory and recall, and that is simply about how the brain stores and retrieves information, and mental patterns. Now, mental patterns are the frameworks of your brain and how it builds from repetition and experience. Now, they help you to actually recognize the situations quickly. They help you to fill in the gaps automatically and react without consciously thinking through every step. For example, you can finish someone's sentence before they do, or you can drive home on autopilot, or you assume an outcome because it usually goes that way, and the patterns are efficient, but they can also lead to biases and rigid thinking if they're too dominant. The understanding about the brain is the we don't want to have, our purpose isn't to understand the brain, but it's to have more information about it that'll give more attention to it and more respect for the capacity that we're allotted on a daily basis or even from moment to moment. Now, cognitive development or brain development, the cognitive department is the mental process through which how humans acquire or they make sense of and use information. Now, this is really comes in handy, especially when we're talking about nutrition. And when we talk about nutrition, nutrition is one of those things that we're competing against euphoria. It's hard to convince ourselves that anything is better than what gives us this euphoric feeling. As the brain matures, the cognitive development becomes more complex, and the cognitive development begins before birth and advances right through the mid 20s. I don't know if you really can you grasp that. As the brain matures, cognitive development it becomes more complex. Okay, so as it matures, the brain becomes more complex, and the brain actually begins before birth and advances right through the mid 20s, involving increasingly more complex mental processes. And that's why you will hear when people say that you can't vote until you're 18, or what is it, or 21. I think it's 18 now, but 18 is the legal age for being recognized as an adult. And that's what we're talking about here when we say cognitive development begins before birth and advances right through the mid 20s. Now, some scientists, professors, doctors actually teach that the a person isn't you're not a I got a little distracted here. Sorry. The mid the people go all the way through their mid 20s, and this is just a legality as far as sometimes you can't get into certain places unless you're 18 or over, and sometimes 21 is that age that people are allowed to or they're in the category of older or adults, involving increasingly more complex mental processes such as abstract thinking, innovation, scientific reasoning. And after the mid 20s, we can still learn and develop, but cognitive development plateaus. Some of the examples again, like the primary circular reactions, 1 to 4 months. That happens when babies they start to follow the objects. They move, and they also can track the ball rolling around on the floor. A development in inductive reasoning, that's from 7 to 11 years, and that's when children actually start making generalizations from personal experiences. And then we have the metacognition. The metacognition happens 12 and over. I mean, no, 11 years plus. And people actually begin to reflect upon their own thinking processes, helping them to enhance their learning skills and their speed. So it's a constant brain development all the way through the early 20s, and that is really, really wonderful. Thank you very much for calling in today. I see, oh man, it's good to see you, Aaliyah. Thank you very much for being here. I see you and your poodles, your dogs, your carrying dogs all the time on line. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for people also over here on Instagram. Thank you for being here, and YouTube. Okay, and let's get back to it here. The memory and recall is next, and this is the ability to store, to keep it over time. That's retention. The store information means to encoding, and how to actually access the thought when needed. That's called retrieval. Some of the examples is like remembering a name that you heard, that you just heard. Like a person, what's your name? Oh, my name is Ty. Okay. All right. Yeah. What's going on, man? Good to meet you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm Z. Is good to meet you. And then when the guy starts talking, he might know your name. Z. Yeah. Yeah, man. I've been wanting to meet you about and talk to you about this or that. And then through the talking, you just absolutely forget. You forget the guy's name, and you forget to you don't know what to call them, so you use a lot of generalizations. But that isn't because you have poor memory. That's because you have a poor, let's say, a poor way of teaching yourself or managing the pattern in which you think. Okay? So, in other words, paying more attention to a person when they say, my name is, hey man, my name is, I'm Ty. Because when you don't deliberately remember a person's name, you simply just, you forget it, right? And it's no big thing to you. You don't remember my Leah, as beautiful as that name is, for instance, you don't remember it, and you have to ask, I'm sorry, what's your name again? Or if you're embarrassed, you might ask somebody else, what's his name again?
And it's so funny that you say that, because that would be the thing as far as being embarrassed, saying, "Oh man, I don't remember what that person's name." So you'll ask someone else. I just had to jump in on that because I've done that before.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times, those kinds of things are. I don't know if you don't practice in a way that will help you to remember, you'll continue that all through adulthood, and you will find yourself saying, "Oh, I don't even remember people's names. I just say, oh, good meeting you," and that's just pretty much being reluctant, or is irresponsible. It's not something that you can avoid. That you can teach yourself how to think, to recall,
Hmm.
as we talked about, have access it, that information, retrieve it, and the way to do that is to pay attention and deliberately say, "I'm going to remember people's names when they introduce themselves to me."
Hmm.
Some of the other recalls, memory and under the ability to recall, would be forgetting where you put the keys, or recalling the facts from a test. Like today, sometimes you can go and get your examination, your annuals, and they may ask you, "I'm going to give you 3 or 4 words, and I want you to remember those words. I want you to remember T, piano, and guitar." That's T, piano, and then what they and guitar, and then they speak to you for a while about other things, and later they ask you, "Now, what were the three things that I gave you to remember?" And then if you have been studying, or you purposely thought about it, "I'm going to remember those 3 things," and how you can relate it to other things to remember that you were talking about T, piano, and guitar. T, piano, and guitar. So you might say, "I like T, and there's 2 instruments I have to remember." you know
Yeah.
I, and then you put that together in your mind, and before you know it, you're like, "Oh, okay, now I'm arranging a system," because it feels like, and looks like, and sounds like you're not interested when you can't remember just a second after a person says, "Oh, hi, I'm glad to meet you. My name is Ty." You see, so that is something that you can start working on too. Remembering the name you just heard, recalling the facts of a test, forgetting where you put the keys. Weak recall can also come from things like stress, poor sleep, lack of repetition, and information overload. So information overload is what many times I find myself in the middle of, and I'm like, "What did I just say? Where am I? Or
Hmm.
where am I? What am I talking about right now? What is he talking about? What is she talking about?" But if you have a good or better understanding than the what you regularly do, then you will see that you'll, through your repetition, slowing things down, thinking about what you're going to say, thinking about what has been said, you'll find yourself doing better with that. Okay? What do you think about that, Care?
I mean, that makes sense to slow down. I know something that I've done before is like reading a book. You're reading one page, and by the time you turn that page, you forget what you read just on that one page. So I don't know if that's one of those things where it may be trying to rush through, or maybe just because you're saying the words, you think you're going to recall the information. But I've definitely done that. So I will make sure to slow down whenever I'm like either reading something, or maybe even like I do a lot of video courses too. So that's something else where you say information overload. I can see that being a challenge. So I'll definitely take that.
Definitely. The other thing that I think too is that we're not taught early on about reading and remembering, because that's called comprehension.
Mm.
And when we're reading something and we can't comprehend it, usually we're just sounding off words, and when we get to the end of those paragraphs, then when we ask for, okay, give me a little feedback now, and a person isn't able to give you feedback, then it's not that the person hasn't any memory.
Hmm.
It's just that it's the pattern in which the person follows doesn't work. Okay, so sometimes it feels like bad memory, and it's actually a pattern problem. And if you think you remember something, but the brain is filled in the gap incorrectly, is something that may not have to do with what you're talking about, but the brain will fill it in just so that it'll make sense that you're talking about something. And that can be very, very confusing because it's like, where are we? You know, if you've ever been there before, and I've been there before,
Oh,
because my mind might be on what I am going to do later on. My daughter wants me to give her a call, and maybe there's some work I have to do to complete some other something that I'm doing. And that when you put these things in order, again, you rely on the habits instead of actively encoding new information. You don't pay attention deeply enough because your brain assumes that you already know this stuff. And is sometimes it's the reverse. You actually recognize a pattern that can't recall the specific details, and that's truly a memory issue. But for the most part, what you just simply do is you find a way, you have a way to remember yourself, remember what you're speaking about, where you are, and how things are related to each other. Good morning, Jonathan Blakely in the house. Thank you for being here, brother. It's really, really wonderful. He says that it was 35 degrees in Detroit this morning. Goodness, 35. That's like the North Pole. Man, that is incredible. Thank you for sharing that, Jonathan. I know, whew, man, that's worth sharing right there. Wow.
we've got
Well,
Dr. James also here in the chat saying,
oh,
said,
great.
good morning. This is such an important topic.
Oh, thank you, Dr. James. Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. That's, I thought I was looking at the latest coming through here, but yeah, it's cool. Dr. James, congratulations. Also, I saw some of the clips of you promoting your book, and it looks like the attendance of the event was quite good, and I love it, man. Stay out there. We need so much help when it comes to nutrition and better health. And talking about mental health today is just really an honor. Now, there's a simple way to tell the difference, and you ask yourself, did I never fully learn this? And that yields likely memory or encoding issue. And then when you might ask, did I assume instead of noticing? And likely that yields likely a pattern of interference. Now, the key insight is this: patterns are fast, but they can be sloppy. Memory is precise, but requires effort. Strong thinking comes from balancing both of these. You have balancing the patterns, which are fast, and the memory, which is precise. Use the patterns for speed and use deliberate attention to strengthen memory. So, in other words, be intentional, be conscious of how you're using your time, and when you're speaking, thinking about what you're saying, being responsible for what's coming out of your mouth, and making sure that you are on the same page with whom you are speaking to or the audience that you're speaking to. Now, there's also MEI, and we should go over this because this is all about early cognitive decline. MCI stands for mild cognitive impairment. Now, why is this trending? The major 2026 focus on early detection of Alzheimer's and dementia using biomarkers and digital tools. Let's talk about some of the symptoms. Memory lapses, forgetting appointments, forgetting names. And we just went over that scenario where people just like, what did you say your name was? Because there's no pattern there. It's like when a person tells you your name, remember their name by, or what they said to you, by comparing or by having something that you can compare what you've heard with. Okay, so memory lapses or forgetting appointments, names, all of those can be quite normal, but they don't have to exist if you are doing or exerting your pattern of memory. So I'm going to remember this. I am, how was your name? Okay, good. So I said, like, for instance, Dr. James, like my father's first name is James. And I remember Dr. James' name by remembering that I won't forget that, that's the same name as my father. I know Dr. James, you probably didn't know that, but that's one of the things that's how I remember many things that I do. So when we talk about things and the person might bring up something that I talked about last year or the year before that, I want to be able to say, oh, okay. Oh, I might say, I don't remember that particular thing, but I do remember it might be something that they're saying that will make it a little easier to recall. The prognosis for this early cognitive decline, not always dementia, but higher risk of progression to Alzheimer's, and early lifestyle changes. These lifestyle changes, you can do something about the early cognitive decline by focusing on your diet and exercise, cognitive activity. Remember, cognitive simply just means brain activity, and that can slow or delay decline. Okay, now make sure that you give me some comments over here, because this really will make a big difference. We want to say hello to Denise Kane. She's with us today, my dear beloved sister. She's thank you very much for being here, Denise. We are we're making progress over here. I wanted to talk to you also about, we know we're still talking about cognitive, we're still talking about brain, but the brain and the gut axis and the cognitive health, and that's the emerging cognitive dysfunction. Now, what does all that mean? And why is it trending? Well, new research links the gut microbiome to brain function, mood, and cognition. Some of the symptoms is brain fog. Now, when people say, "Oh, I got a little brain fog, I'm hazy, I can't think about it," then don't. I would suggest not to take it too heavy when you are saying it. Now, I got. You're claiming it. I got brain fog. But if you just say, "Give me a moment, let me figure this out," and then you go back through all the things that you compared it with. Oh yeah, I remember. His name starts with an N, just like Neil's name, or you'll mention some other name, and you can come up with these things. And there'll be different techniques that you use to remember. Sometimes memorization it doesn't mean anything unless you compare it with something. If you say, for instance, ZYX, if you send ZYXV, W, and then VUTSRQPONMLKJIGFEDCBA. So I just went through the alphabet. So in going through the alphabet is memory there. Now you can actually put something with that memory. For instance, Let's say A is for asocial, and you say asocial. B is for benign. C is for capillary. And then you when you hear or when you want to think about a name, or if you want to think about a process, or you think about a title, you have something to pull from. We can go into that later on. But besides brain fog, there's also difficulty concentrating and mood instability. My goodness, this is really a big one when you are suffering from anxiety, irritability linked to your brain or cognition. And the prognosis, often they're reversible or improvable. That is a huge thing. Don't just jump to conclusions that you have some kind of brain disease, because we start talking about, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. And if you do this, this other thing will fall apart. All of these things, just know that it's reversible. There are some things that are not reversible, and when I say they're not reversible, that can be pretty scary, because when or you've been told that you cannot change situations, that can be quite a challenge. So we're talking about the brain gut axis and cognitive health. Another thing, we were going into prognosis, and often there are things that we have, other diseases and different disorders that may be irreversible, but this is it's reversible and improvable with diet changes, stress management, microbiome, and it might be just having a lot of anxiety, needing someone to talk with. It might be something that you can talk to a counselor, a CBT therapist, psychologist. You can go over these things with these individuals because they actually are doing things to remember, or things to help you to recall, things to help you to have less anxiety or irritability. One of the things is just like example, what we're doing now when reporting to you. A lot of times when we're giving you pictures, or you have pictures in your brain, or again talking, or things to remember, to recall, you got a heavy day and a lot of scheduling in that day. This is when you can blame it on, or you can think about why you're feeling so unstable, like in mood instability. When you just start, you're grumpy and don't even know where it's coming from. That's a lot of times it's just instability of moods, and it can change. You ever seen a person like arguing with a person, and then another person comes along there, good morning, how are you? Good, it's good to see you. And you just finished cursing out your best friend. You know, that's phony baloney. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the big picture when it comes to the trend. Cognitive health is shifting from treat disease later, which yields detect and prevent earlier. And this is when you are being very proactive with your health, your mental health. Rising issues like anxiety and depression and burnout are all increasing cognitive symptoms across populations. Many people are burnt out, they're tired, and then that's why if you don't get a balance with this, you'll actually be a part of that group that's just waiting around to die. It's just like, hey, how you doing? Hey, man, shit, If I had your hand, I'd throw mine away. You hear stuff like that. How you doing, man? Hey, man, what's happening? People just asking questions. I just asked, how are you doing? And I didn't mean how, I didn't ask how the weather is. But, yeah, I think that's going to be around for quite a while. Dr. James says, how important is good quality of sleep for memory? Yeah, that's also a really good thing. That's why it's good to eat that small meal so that your body will be least at its least point of activity. In other words, not so busy when you go into sleep, because when you eat so much food or just a little too much, it doesn't have to even be that. It can be rich with calories. For instance, like sweets. If you're eating candy, or you're eating something that has a lot of calories in it, something very sweet, and have that in combination with perhaps looking at right into the screen of the monitor of your phone or your desktop, you can interrupt your sleep pattern. And I've talked about this before with your sympathetic nervous system, the interruption of your sleep or deep sleep, especially because this is when your body actually heals. So eating the small meal, it gets back to the rhythm diet again. And more people will get, after they keep hearing it, perhaps, and this has happened, many people have start eating more responsibly instead of going to bed on that big old meal that we're used to eating at the end of the day. That is superannuated. We don't even eat like that anymore. That's a whole different way of eating, and is antiquated, and we need to choose some other ways to eat, because that is definitely causing the heart to continue to beat at a higher than normal beat when you're going to sleep. And we need the heart to slow down. It doesn't ever stop, but it slows down, especially when we're getting ready to go to sleep, or when you're in sleep mode. So that's very important. Also, other rising issues of depression. That's another thing, is like being able to pace out your time, having someone to talk to, having someone to give you feedback, and having patience with yourself. Don't get, let's remember that song, Don't Let the Joneses Get You Down. Don't do what everybody else is doing. You need to get information, and you should give yourself the time, slow things down where you can actually get feedback or something that'll help you figure out a problem or a challenge that you've had maybe months or years. So that's all of that is quite important, and we continue to improve ourselves. Now, the bottom line is that the most important shift this mental health awareness month is this: that the cognitive health is no longer just about aging and about dementia. So cognitive health is about more than that. And that's what we're doing today, is just to giving you some ideas of how to think about something that appears to be a problem. So in other words, like, you don't have to worry about it's not always like it's an older person. And when I say older, I mean it can be a person that hasn't done a good job on taking care of themselves, or it could be a person that just is in bad fitness. It can be a person that, it can be something that occurred in respect to the gene pool, and it can definitely be other things. So don't reach this or rush to this conclusion because you forgot your address. Sometimes you see on TV, people will be asked you, "What's your name?" They mumble before they even get to their name because they're so nervous, and many times it's just a temporary thing where people are nervous and they just aren't prepared. We want to also welcome over here on the on Instagram, we have I Love You. Michelle is in the house. Thank you for being here. And Ruth Taylor is here, being in the house. What's going on, fam? Is so glad to see y'all. And thank you for being here. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to do one more thing. We're going to stop for any questions. If you have anything, just go and put it right in the comments so we can talk about that. Are there any healthy ways of eating that can actually help? And the answer is yes. So let's just talk about, we know we're the mind of nature, and of course we're talking about how you eat and how you exercise and how you rest and how you communicate with other people. All of these are part of your diet. That is not just the food, it's about all those other things that help to manage it. Okay, one thing is the mind diet. Now this is a combination of DASH and Mediterranean. These are two diets that are very well used in especially medicine. The different, it might be the registered dietitians or nutritionists that turn to these particular diets when people want to have a diet plan. This is one of the most researched diets specifically for brain health. Core focus foods are mainly leafy greens. That's the kale, spinach, and collards. The collards are really rough, I'm telling you. So you have to, we look into that later, but cut it in smaller parts and you have to cook it longer. But usually the collards are pretty rough, but they do have nutrition and so nutrients are there. And then berries, especially blueberries and strawberries. I love raspberries also. Blueberries I eat practically every week. I really like those, and strawberries delicious too. Now a lot of people won't eat strawberries because of the seeds on the outside, and they have a problem with the thought that sometimes the pesticides or fungicides or herbicides that are caught between the seeds can be hazardous. But that can be a problem if you sit up and eat a whole bucket of them. But this is rare that you may hear, or you might not hear anything at all about that. But some people are to that extreme, and they want to avoid eating strawberries altogether because whatever their reasons are, and most of it is because of the sprays that are used in order to kill the insects, so the insects don't kill the crop. Let's go next to whole grains. Super important as a food group that is good for the mind diet. Beans and lentils are excellent, and olive oil is excellent. How it helps, it slows cognition decline. Now we can talk about the shrinking of a brain, the hardening of a brain. All of that stuff is slowed down. Now, again, I don't have to remind you that we all have an expiration date. That's why it's so important to smile, to love, to give, to share, to travel, see the world, to be around great people, to eat great food, to, love your family, all of these things. I don't know why people are continually getting old and don't have anything to do when they work, and you don't have any responsibility. Well, I don't want to say responsibilities, but you haven't anything that you're going to be working on. Don't let the day catch you without a project. Don't let the day catch you without a project. That means that you got to have something that you're doing every day. Even if your project is, I'm going to rest all day. I'm not answering the phone. I'm not going to go out. I'm going to stay right here and I'm going to enjoy myself with my tea. You might look at a good movie or something of that nature. Okay. So make sure you keep that in mind. Let me stop right here because there may be some questions, and thank you very much for being here with us. and this time is just really, really important. And we just want to show our gratitude by saying thank you so much for being here. So let's turn it back over to Carolyn. Carolyn, what you got for us?
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. For anyone that is just joining us, hello to you. We are live streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Thank you all so much for the likes. Go ahead and don't forget to give us the thumbs up if you're over on YouTube. It's just that one thumb. It doesn't have to be the multiple one. You actually have to go in and do the thumbs up, and you can only do it one time. If you do it again, then you thumbs up. Does that make sense? Anywho, but please go ahead and give us the thumbs up on YouTube. We really would appreciate it. Just great information, Dr. Zarif. For me, as far as how I help myself to recall things, I am more of a visual person. So I would probably put something visual along with, you mentioned earlier, remembering someone's name. So anything that's like more like a visual thing, that's how I tend to tie things together when I'm trying or when I'm attempting to remember someone's name or something like that.
Uh,
Doesn't always happen, but that's one of the techniques that I use.
That's great. That I'm glad you said that because there's several ways, that you can remember things,
Hmm.
and if a person is dyslexic, and they see things backwards sometimes, and it's confusing when they're reading, but
Yes.
they find a pattern to do that because this doesn't mean again that just because a person has a problem reading or seeing the letters or the formation of the words, that person can be just as ingenious as anybody else.
Oh yeah.
They find how to use the pattern and they don't down themselves because they're not like, I love the idea of being unique, and that's one part of it. And it might be a little more strenuous, a little more taxing, a little more challenging. However, you find a way to work with that particular challenge, and it turns out to be that many of the people, like, look at how many people have quit college, have quit universities, have quit right in the middle of their semesters, and become billionaires.
Oh yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, I mean, it's incredible. And that's you can all the way from the what's his name, Zuckerberg.
Oh,
You have the other.
Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, the
Okay,
Facebook guy, right? Mark Zuckerberg.
yes, Mark Zuckerberg, and then I don't know Bill Gates. I don't know, but remember Steve Jobs.
Hmm.
All of these are billionaires. I mean, people with a whole lot of money and didn't finish school.
Right. And then
And, and I don't know Elon Musk where he was. I think he did the same thing.
I'm not sure about his education wise, but he's uh, autistic. So, but that's one of those things where it's like people just learn in a different way. So
Yeah,
when you say people, maybe out of college or drop out of college is not because they were getting what they were supposed to be getting at college. They're actually dropping out to be able to learn the way they can learn, the
yeah,
way that it more matches their learning form or whatever you may call it,
right.
right? But it's not necessarily that what you're doing in college is the right way. It's just there's just certain ways that people learn, just like what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, again, it's that uniqueness. We're so afraid to be unique and to be different, to be outstanding, that we want to. People are just copying off of each other, and followers are following the followers.
Hmm.
So we want to just mix that up. I know that's the way I do. I like the opportunity to be different and the opportunity to talk to people that are unique,
Yes.
and that really is what makes it's the joy of life. It's really really beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like we're coming up on the hour, so let's see what else can we squeeze in here. Carolyn, did you have any other comments that you want to make, or see if any we have anybody else that's leaving comments?
No, I think we are good for right now. We are
Okay, so I'm going to squeeze in a couple of minutes. Everybody, please be patient with us. I want to talk to you about some of the things that, as far as what we eat, the whole food plant based diet is super important. Your core focus will be on vitamins. I'm sorry, vitamins that are in the vegetables and fruits, nutrients, of course, but the fruits and vegetables, the legumes, the whole grains, and then minimal processed foods. Stay away from these ultra processed foods. I'm telling you, it is. We talked about that last week, and those are things that you might have ultra processed somewhere in the house. You might even bought some. And the thing that you want to keep in mind is that the ultra processed foods can be deleterious. You don't want to use something that will, in the long run, make you suffer, especially from malnutrition, because when it is ultra pasteurized or ultra processed, you're not getting any nutrients or very little nutrients, if any, after the ultra, not just processed, but ultra processed. And this is, so that's very important to keep in mind. Now, how does it help? It helps to improve your blood flow to your brain. It reduces inflammation, which is a major driver of cognitive decline. Reducing the inflammation. Yeah, you heard me right. Inflammation in the brain. So when you don't allow your body to rest, and Dr. James brought up this point earlier, that when you do not rest and you're not getting enough rest, your body isn't capable of healing itself. And this we want you to know that, or it can slow that process up very, very slowly. No or very little animal products. You want to, I know it's hard for some people to keep that in mind, that, oh my goodness, like he said, don't eat meat, must be crazy. Well, uh, there is a lot of evidence, a lot of proof, and that's what we talk about all the time, the evidence and the proof that eating meat is hazardous to your health. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to go back and forth with that. If you are eating meat, reduce the amount of meat that you're eating, and eventually you may we need more people anyway that don't eat meat, so we can be more creative. And because now the things that are being created, they taste just like meat. So people are like, it's like, I want to taste the stuff that tastes like meat, but I don't want the process that it has to go through to taste like meat. So a whole different thing. I just bought a real nice Ninja, the food processor and combination blender, and I'm just so excited. So get yours ready. I'm letting you know ahead of time, because we're going to be putting together, we're going to make our own burgers. We're going to make our own bread. We're going to make our own casseroles, our own mayo, our own cheese, whatever we have to make. And we might have to just make something that's not like a mock cheese or a mock burger. We'll be making it straight from our vegetables and fruits. So I'm looking forward to it. It's so much fun ahead. So make sure you get one. As a matter of fact, make sure you keep your attention on TikTok, because I have a few commercials up that'll tell you exactly which ones you should buy, and a link that you can go straight to and have it on its way to your doorstep. So keep that in mind, and that's within this next week that I'll have that information available for you, and you can actually get exactly what I'm getting, and let's enjoy being creative. Another thing, no or very low. The other thing, no to very low the sugars, uh, uh, sugar, and then grease and salt. You know, SOS. You definitely want to reduce that, and because we're talking about reducing the inflammation in the brain now, so really pay attention to that because it's very easy not to pay attention or look over it, especially when you're smelling the aroma of the food. You know, oh man, yesterday I made some chili out of this world, and it was delicious. It changes the whole atmosphere when you smell that the aroma. And I also made some no egg, no dairy cornbread. Just really just things that you can do that's simple around the house. Really talking to those of you that spend time by yourself sometime, you can still make that a very beautiful time. Love your own company. Okay, we're getting ready to get out of here. I want you, the other things, the anti-inflammatory eating patterns. The foods to emphasize would be the colorful vegetables, especially the cruciferous like broccoli and cauliflower, and there's more there. Healthy fats, the avocado, the walnuts, and flax seeds. You want to get these on your salads. You want to get these in your soups, your stews, and other foods that you make, your different breads even. Herbs and spices like turmeric, ginger. Now, though, most people follow other people, so you will hear turmeric, and turmeric is you can, they say it wrong so many times that you say, yeah, let me have some turmeric. People know what you're talking about, but look at the way that it's spelled: Turmeric. Just for your information, no biggie. All right, so foods to reduce. You want to reduce, again, remind you, ultra processed foods, ultra pasteurized foods, refined carbs, processed meats, excess sugar. All of these things are important. And how does it help? It helps the chronic inflammation that's linked to brain fog, depression related cognitive issues, neurodegeneration, and reducing it supports clearer thinking and long-term brain protection. Don't you want to hear that? Don't you want to put that in your body? Now you can go ahead, move forward into this day and enjoy it. We have other things that, of course, we always have other things that we can talk about because it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful to keep all these beautiful things in your body. Remember keeping the colors there, steaming, cooking with less oil, cooking with less sugar, cooking with less salt. All of these will help you on your way to being a cognitively balanced person. And this is our contribution to Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you for being here. We're going to go back to Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zari. There's a comment that Dr. James made, and I wanted to. It's kind of like a disclaimer, so I'm like, oh, that's a good thing. He says, if you are considering dropping out of college, be sure to have a plan, because we talked about earlier the millionaires that dropped out of college. So don't say, oh, Dr. Zari from Carolyn told us this. Um,
Well,
so
you can, they can say that we told, or they heard it on the show or something. But yeah, I understand this point too. Is
yeah,
not so people. So yeah, people are extremists. There's like I heard on there. I was thinking about quitting school. No, it's college is a beautiful place to be. It is a wonderful experience. It's a lifetime experience. You can't get that experience anywhere else. And the connections that you make in school are incredible. And some of the smartest people in the world are people that are college grads. They have done or they've contributed their life to the learning process, the education that comes along with it. and these people make a difference in the world. So want to definitely make that clear. Thank you very much, Dr. James. Because some people will think that. Go
Yes.
ahead, Karen.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Perry. Really do appreciate that. Again, thank you all so much. We are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. Dr. Zarif, you mentioned your TikTok page earlier, so I just want to go ahead and put that out there. His TikTok page is, you can just do the at, and it's at Farid Zarif. Excuse me, at Dr. Farid Zarif. There it is. That's the TikTok page. If anyone wanted um, to show some love on Dr. Zarif's page, he's over there as well, and giving information as well. Okay.
Yeah, you know what, your things that when Kara's talking about, we appreciate you from going over to another page or logging or leaving a like or a comment. All of those things, that is the language of on being online.
Mhm.
And when you say that you're happy that we're here or thank you for being here, we also want you to do things like make sure you go on the Dr. Farid Zarif channel on YouTube, the I am Dr. Farid Zarif on Instagram, and you want to go on, I believe I'm on Farid Zarif on Facebook. So with those, you will find me in any case because we've been doing this for a long time now. And seek and you will find. We have Dr. James, I believe. What does that say?
Thank you. Great show.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, great. All right, and let's talk about that. What is our date coming up with Dr. James? Remember the third weekend, the third Saturday of each month, we have Dr. James on the show. So make sure that you. This is the first Saturday of this month. So this 2 more Saturdays, we're going to have the wonderful Dr. James here. Thank you so much, everybody. Jonathan Blakely, man, that's a beautiful brother. Okay, yeah, we have anything else, Kara?
No. Well, for the third Saturday is the 16th of May. So if that's the date that we're talking about, then
Okay.
that's when we'll do. But of course, it'll be confirmed by next week, right?
Yes, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. I'm telling you early so you can be on time. So, yeah, man, we're gonna have everybody have a great time today. Remember, make great choices out there because life is beautiful, and a part of that beauty is that you are involved in it. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you, Care.